Drawing is an enjoyable pastime for some, but it can also be a daunting task for others. But in one of my darkest moments, drawing actually became a lifesaver. Come and join me as I tell you my story and learn how to draw. I'm Rema, and this is my art space. Drawing has been one of the skills I have embraced since childhood. Every summer vacation, I stitch together unused paper from my school notebooks and make a storybook out of them. This is one of my surviving works that I made as a kid. I must admit that I still cringe when I see my old works. But when I was young, then I was already proud of them. These books were inspired by 90s films such as The Never-Ending Story. That's why I love writing adventure, and along with those stories, I add illustrations to them because I love reading storybooks. These are just the beginnings of how I started making art. From drawing, I tried to pursue painting in high school and college, even though it's just a pastime. However, I stopped drawing when I entered the workforce. From time to time, I tried to make doodles just to ease my mind. For some reason, however, I could not progress my art skills until the pandemic came. March 2020. I could not return to my family in Bulacan because I was stuck at a boarding house in Manila due to overly strict government-imposed restrictions. Everything was sad and boring and a bit depressing until I came across Sir Robert Alejandro's free daily workshops. He gave a free drawing workshop to adults. That encouraged me to pick up the pen and paper again. It was like meeting a good old friend who pulled me out from the gutter of depression and liberated my mind from the walls that caved in my soul. Indeed, drawing was a gift from God, the greatest artist of all. I have people tell me that they don't have the ability to draw just because they end up with stick figures that lack depth and character. But you don't have to be a child prodigy just to be able to learn to draw. What's important is that you enjoy doing it. It's okay if you can draw a stick figure because that's a good start. In time, if you keep on practicing, that stick figure will become a super figure. If you want to learn how to draw, you only need two simple things: paper and a pencil. But if you don't have a pencil, it's okay to use a pen. If you are one of those ready to jump in to draw complicated subjects just like this scene, go ahead. But if you're not confident with that, you can start with simpler objects, just like this Mayana plant. When you're drawing, just try to copy the subject. Drawing is a good mental exercise because it helps us take note of details and also boosts our concentration. There's no time limit in drawing. Some can take less than 30 minutes, others can take hours. Don't rush to the outcome. The finished product is the fruit of your hard work. I must admit that I once believed that I was a bad steward because I abandoned my drawing skills at some point in time. But I believe that God is gracious and He has preserved this gift for me to use in the right time. So don't feel bad if you think you have left your art skills or your drawing skills. And also for those who would like to try but who are afraid to do so, don't be scared. Don't be scared in taking the first step. Remember, when you take that first step, it's a breakthrough. And every step that you make on the way, That's a greater breakthrough. I hope this video encouraged you. I would also like to thank Sir Robert Alejandro for allowing me to use some of the footages of his workshops from his Facebook account. Also, I invite you to check out his works at the webpage of Papel Merotti. Thank you for joining me in this video. I hope to see you again next time. Bye! I hope this video and also for through those workshops, it's okay if you start with a stick figure because there's a fly on my front of me. Hey, do I smell bad? Because this was a very complicated video to make, I needed to make a script and then a list of video materials that I need for shooting, for production, and just to complement that script. This is one of the skills that I gathered when I was working in the media industry, and I continue to adapt it in my vlogs because it is really effective, especially when you want to make a clear storyline on what you want to present. I've been working on this script since 7 p.m. and now it's 10 p.m. So I can say that working on a script is really not easy. But yes, it's fun and it's part of the production of the song. It's part of what you can do to make clearer vlogs. One of the most complex part of this video is making the stop animation, especially the first stick figure that drowns in its own tears. I made stop animation for some of my previous videos, but this one I would say took me the longest time to make because I've just finished the first stop animation in this video for 3 days. The whole 4 to 5 second video took 269 frames just to make a very short story out of it. I like the feel of stop animation on this one because it adds like this traditional element of drawing. It's complex, it's tiring, but it's fun to make. But I hope in the next animation that I will make, I might use an app to create one. But I still haven't tried digital animation, so let's wait for it.